Welcome to the IELTS reading lesson. Today we study IELTS 19 Test 1 Passage 1, How Tennis Rackets Have Changed. This article has 13 questions. The first 7 are true-false not given questions. The last 6 are note completion questions. True-false not given questions have 2 types, synonym replacement and logic comparison. Note completion is keyword location. Knowing the question types helps you find answers quickly. For true-false not given, compare carefully with the passage. For note completion, find the right keywords. The article has 11 paragraphs. It is an expository text about how tennis rackets have changed. From passage 1 to 3, introduces Murray's racket change and professional players' customization. From passage 4 to 5, explains reasons for modifications and history, including the spaghetti-strung racket. From passage 6 to 9, introduces specific changes to strings and frames, like synthetic strings and adding weights. Heat map shows, true-false not given questions are mainly in the first 5 paragraphs. Note completion questions are in the last 6 paragraphs. Pay attention to paragraph distribution. Let's look at question 1. The statement says, people had expected Andy Murray to become the world's top tennis player for at least 5 years before 2016. Key clue words, expected to become the world's top. Locate paragraph 1. The scanning landmark word is 5 years previously. The original text says, regarded as a talented outsider who entered but never won the major tournaments. The statement says expected to become the world's top, but the text says regarded as an outsider who never won. These directly contradict each other. This is an antonym replacement. So the answer to question 1 is false. Let's look at question 2. The change Andy Murray made to his rackets attracted a lot of attention. The key clue in the question is attracted a lot of attention. Let's locate paragraph 2 and find the original text landmark words related to attention. The original text uses the phrase so subtle as to pass more or less unnoticed. The question says attracted a lot of attention, but the text says passed more or less unnoticed. These are opposite meanings, a clear antonym replacement. So the answer to question 2 is false. Let's look at question 3. The statement says, most of the world's top players take a professional racket stringer on tour with them. Key clue words, take a professional racket stringer on tour. Locate paragraph 3. The scanning landmark is Colin Triplow, a UK-based professional racket stringer. The original text says, touring professionals have their rackets customized to their specific needs, says Colin Triplow. The text only mentions rackets being customized, but says nothing about whether players take stringers on tour. This is a classic invented information, not a contradiction, so it is not false. So the answer to question 3 is not given. Let's look at question 4. This question says Mike and Bob Bryan use rackets that are lighter than most rackets. Key clue words are light and in comparison to the majority of rackets. Locate paragraph 3 and find descriptions about their racket weight. The original text says the rackets they use now weigh more than the average model. The question says lighter, but the text says heavier. This is a clear opposite meaning, a direct contradiction. So the answer to question 4 is false. Let's look at question 5. Werner Fischer played with a spaghetti-strung racket that he designed himself. The key clue is designed himself. Let's go to paragraph 5 to find information about Fischer and where the racket came from. The text says, the amateur German tennis player Werner Fischer started playing with the so-called spaghetti-strung racket. The original phrase is started playing with. The statement says he designed himself, but the text only says he started playing with the racket. There is no information about who designed it. This is a making something out of nothing trap. Note, the text does not say he didn't design it, it simply doesn't mention the designer at all. So it is not false, it is not given. So the answer to question 5 is not given. Let's look at question 6. The weather can affect how professional players adjust the strings on their rackets. Please pause the video and decide if this is true or false. The key clue words in this statement are weather and adjust the strings. Locate paragraph 6. The scanning landmark word in the text is climatic conditions. The original text uses the phrase climatic conditions, which means weather conditions. The statement's weather is a direct synonym for the text's climatic conditions. The text says players change string tension based on climatic conditions, which directly supports the statement. So the answer to question 6 is true. Let's look at question 7. It was believed that the change Pete Sampras made to his rackets contributed to his strong serve. The key clue words in the statement are change and contributed to his strong serve. Locate paragraph 9. The scanning landmark words are Pete Sampras and lead weights. The original text says, his serving power was attributed to the addition of lead weights onto his rackets. The statements, contributed to his strong serve is a paraphrase of the original serving power was attributed to lead weights. This is a clear synonym replacement. So the answer to question 7 is true. Next is the note completion for Q8-13. One-word limit, mostly extracted directly from the text. Let's look at question 8. It asks what the Bryan brothers experimented with on their racket frames. The blank is after paint, so we need a noun. The clue words are experimented with and different kinds of. The blank needs a specific noun in singular form. We go to paragraph 3. The Bryan brothers say they adjusted racket length and also experimented with different kinds of paint. The original text directly says experimented with different kinds of paint. So the answer is paint. This word is directly given in the text, no replacement needed. So the answer to question 8 is paint. Let's look at question 9. This racket was banned because it generated too much of what? Before the blank is too much, and after it is that it was banned, so we need a noun here. Go to paragraph 5 and find the phrase generated so much. The original text says generated so much topspin, so the answer is topspin. This word is directly given in the text, no replacement needed. So the answer to question 9 is topspin. Let's look at question 10. The text says racket modification is as important as nutrition or training. We need to find a noun for the blank. The blank is after nutrition or, so we need a noun that is parallel to nutrition. Let's go to the end of paragraph 5. The text says racket modification is as important as nutrition or training. The original text directly gives the word training. No replacement is needed. So the answer to question 10 is training. Let's look at question 11. It asks what natural gut is made from. The blank is after sheep or cow, so the answer should be a noun for a body part. The clue is sheep or cow, so the answer is a plural noun for an animal organ. We find the answer in paragraph 7. The first sentence mentions the outer layer of sheep or cow intestines, which directly gives us the answer. The text says natural gut made from the outer layer of sheep or cow intestines. Intestines is the answer. This word is directly given in the original text, no replacement needed. So the answer to question 11 is intestines. Let's look at question 12. The question says that the serving power of U.S. player Pete Sampras was because he added 4 to 5 watt onto his racket. The clue words are lead and onto his rackets. Before the blank is 4 to 5 lead, so we need a plural noun. Go to paragraph 9. We see the words Pete Sampras and lead. The answer is close to these words. The text says addition of 4 to 5 lead weights. Weights is the word we need. This word is directly given in the original text, no replacement needed. So the answer to question 12 is weights. Let's look at question 13. It asks what the Portuguese player Oliveira replaced on his racket. The clue words are original and thinner. Go to paragraph 10 and find the name Oliveira. The text says Oliveira replaced the original grips. The answer word grips is directly given. So the answer to question 13 is grips. Now let's summarize 3 common tricks in true-false not given questions. Trick 1, opposite meaning. The question says the opposite of the text. For example, Q1 and Q4, the question says bad weather, but the text says good climatic conditions. Trick 2, wrong subject. The question changes the subject from the text. For example, Q2, the text says his serving power came from lead weights, but the question says from training. Trick 3, extra information. The question adds something not in the text. For example, Q3 and Q5, the text never mentions these details, but the question does. Remember, be careful with absolute words like first or only. Find evidence in the text first. Now let's review the key vocabulary from this passage. Q6, weather matches climatic conditions in the text. Q7, strong serve matches serving power from lead weights in the text. Completion key terms, paint, topspin, training, intestines, weights, grips. That's all for the intensive reading of Test 2 Passage 1. Thanks for watching.